someone's dog on Colorado. She was from Texas. So we zigzagging. Are we gonna do Colorado? Bury the Hatchet, Colorado. So we'll go up Colorado Street here, off of Washington and towards what, Carpenter. Check it out here in a minute because it's so I actually took care of a corgi in this house here where you'll see the big wall against the parking lot. So that's the house, that's the actual house, and cute little backyard. It's hard to tell from the outside. Like sometimes things don't look as great from the outside. I think it was like a first time home, so there's like fixing up and stuff like that. I don't know if she still lives there or not, but oddly, and a cottage door. Oddly, her home was very like cozy. I just stayed downstairs, and it felt cozy and safe and quiet. It's interesting the spaces that can feel like cozy as opposed to some spaces, even modern ones, can feel like empty or junky. It's hard to explain. The only downside was there was a so slight hint of gas somewhere. So it's one of these homes, you know, maybe she has to fix it up a lot depending on the block here that she's on. So we're coming up on 17th Street. It's nice and quiet here. So there's quite a bit. Of course, Washington Avenue is noisy just because there's, you know, constant traffic and there's a lot of contractors, heavy equipment, big machinery always on Washington Avenue. But it feels good here and I'm grateful for that. So here's what a UPenn van looks like now. Back in the day, the fourth Monday of January 2011, I was made to believe I'd be murdered in my apartment, and there was a series of orchestrated events surrounding that. I was so terrorized, I was stunned and shell-shocked, I didn't know what to do, but one of the elements participating in the orchestration was a van outside of my window, because someone claimed it was a UPenn van, and the UPenn vans didn't look like the one I just showed you now. Supposedly, they had passenger vans that were all white and maybe just like blue lettering for UPenn. What I remember is just a plain white van with no passenger windows, just the front windows for the driver and then whoever sits next to the driver as a passenger, but not passengers like going back in the van. It was just a solid plain white van with no windows other than the very front seat. Later, UPenn would come out with these new shuttles. Some look more like ambulances, like more boxy, and then that one there looks like a van. And they are clearly UPenn shuttles, like they're clearly marked. So this is a school here, Stanton. Here it's elementary. We have one in Delaware that's middle school, but anyway. I also recall that this could be a hot spot for orchestrated, or dare I say puppeted activity. I don't like to use the word puppeting because it freaks people out, and unless something were to happen to you and you're like, okay, now I have to live with this. That's great. So on 2 occasions there was a scene that broke out here, and I say scenes because I think hot spots for puppeting, and of course it's here by a school, so there might be people out there who try to help disadvantaged kids or regular kids who are in regular public school try to get a leg up, and that they would try to pump it that way. You know what I mean? That's what I'm told, that possibly. But anyway, things could be in place, mechanisms, you know, cables, so forth and so on, to aid and abet in that situation. But one time a scene broke out here that was really like uncool, and they were drilling in the street, and it was a serious thing. Another time I walked by this alleyway here, I'm pretty sure it's this one with the fence, and I was totally drained. I almost passed out. I think that's it there. Is that the one? Yeah. And it's over, you know, and of course Modify Salon is way over there. Modify Hair Salon, but Modify what? I was so drained I thought I was going to pass out. I was like, what just went on? Meanwhile, something weird happened and someone died or was shot, or there was like a big news story where someone got killed, or there was something really awful that happened in the city at the almost the exact moment that I would have walked by that Modify in that section there. I have a client who temporarily lived on that block there, Webster over here. He moved all the way down to South Philly and owns a home down there, but he lived also over on 9th and Lombard, 406 South 9th. He had a home in like Winter Park or West Palm Beach-ish, Florida, kind of, you know, it was like a modest-ish home. And he offered that home up to the government Section 8 housing type program. So he would get a check. From the government, because they were able to find renters for his home. So the government paid him, you know, as long as the people were in the program, then he got a check from the government. Little squirrel went up there on a regular basis. So I don't know his story, his unusual story. He says he's a traveling nurse. That occupation also ties into gang stalking, because you could either be a victim and wind up slightly lucky and be able to travel a lot and until you settle down your roots later and work and earn a living by hopping around, or you're a full-on gang stalker and you go undetected by hopping around, and maybe you have many dwellings. If you look up someone's name and they have like a ton of addresses, it could go either way. I've lived in apartments and had to move because they went condo, so I was forced to move to different addresses in the city twice. Then I house sat for someone for a summer, so that included an address. But in my case, I'm a moving target. In other people's cases, if they're all around the United States with 50 million house addresses, you know, it could raise eyebrows, like, what's going on with this person? What are they looking for? Who are they? And so forth and so on. So, they're digging up this street here, Fitzwater. Which runs east and west. Right, I could. Right, over here it used to be Arts. It must be special housing still. Artist South. So they kept it kind of the same name. Like it was